about a jerkbait that you got to remember. It works 90% on the pause. Oh, walleye that jump. Bob's your uncle, or in my case, your cousin. We just went sideways. Whoosh. Did you get any walleye close by? He says, yes, I did, as a matter of fact. Thump. They're smart. Fish are smart. They're predators, right? They wait for their opportunity. Bang.
The Fishin' Canada Show, brought to you in part by Ram Trucks. Nothing works harder than a Ram. Stearns, trusted on the water since 1952. Mercury Outboards, #1 on the water. And Outdoor Canada, Canada's only national fishing and hunting magazine.
Today's Fishin' Canada show is kind of a bizarre episode, which sits on the heels of an even more bizarre episode, in where Ange had found what could be deemed as the ultimate pike feeding frenzy. He located this fishing phenomenon along a shallow cut that separated two sections of Kaby Lake in Ontario's Algoma region. The pike he was fishing were up in the shallows, smashing and gorging on thousands upon thousands of minnows, more than he's ever seen in one location, is what he told me. I asked him his thoughts as to why so many minnows would be in that one particular area, and he just looked at me totally perplexed. Perhaps they were spawning. Maybe they were corralled by the predator fish. He didn't have an answer, and I wasn't about to guess. The bottom line is, it's loaded with all kinds of fish life. Since Kaby is known primarily as a walleye hotspot, along with great pike fishing, I instantly got my fish alert up. If there's that many baitfish and pike in the area, there has to be walleye somewhere close by. And Angelo soon confirmed it. He'd caught a few while fishing for pike. This, I thought, could be very interesting. As I entered and assessed the channel, I tried to envision myself swimming in that aquatic war zone. If I were a walleye, which incidentally do get eaten by pike on a regular basis here on Kaby, where would I go and try to take advantage of this ridiculously gigantic school of minnows, yet not get pounced on by a big predator? The middle of the channel is pretty much the only starting place. If there are big pike in the middle as well, I can probably kiss my walleye dreams goodbye. But if I'm right, look out, you little pickerels, because Petey's gonna have a heyday. I lost the sight of my bait there. Okay, they're small, but they're all gonna be, there's gonna be a mixture of sizes. I'm hoping that the odd big one flies into here. I'm watching my bait. You don't feel these fish when you pause, because in any jerkbait fishing, almost all jerkbait fishing, the hit comes in the pause. I'm watching this bright white bait down there, and that one just went sideways. Whoosh, set the hook. There you go. Bob's your uncle, or in my case, your cousin. So I had 3 hooks in them. And big pike ants we're catching. Thump. That's what they're eating, aside from the minnows. Maybe they're eating, these guys are in for the minnows and the pike are in for these guys. There is so many pike here, and I'm getting walleye. I love it. As luck would have it, I was right. The channel was literally loaded with hungry walleye waiting for unsuspecting minnows to break away from their shallow retreat. It almost seemed like they were looking for the pike's sloppy seconds. Feels maybe like more like a walleye. Oh no, he's going too sideways now. What are you? That's a walleye. Okay. Be very, very careful when those double trebles are on you, because they can hurt you. A fish like this, not only is his weaponry bad, see the way he flares his gills? You don't like me at all. I'll hold him over the water so that if he decides to flip, he's not going to damage himself on the boat. You know, very, very typical Northern Ontario walleye. Kaby Lake walleye, there's tons of these in here. I mean, probably millions, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. And you know what I'm thinking right now, because it's the heat of the afternoon. It's really dark, or a real high sky, and then really hot right now. I'm thinking that maybe the smaller fish, they're going to stay here all the time, but I got a feeling the bigger girls might be, you know, when the evening comes, the lower light comes in, I think the big girls might come into here. You know, they know the food's here already, and if there's giant pike in here, then there's got to be some big walleye in here. So I'm hoping I'm just warming up for the big ones. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. What was that noise? Another one. And what may you be? An ugly pike. No, it's a walleye. I'm just joking. It's a good one, actually. This is a nice walleye. Just as I was saying, in the evening they're going to come in. They're probably not here, and they are here. Yeah, that's an awesome fish right there. I'm just going to put my trolling motor. I'm just going to let this thing drift. See, the one thing about a walleye, they don't really like being held by the belly. Smallmouth bass you can pick up by the belly, not a problem. Walleye, they hate it. I'm going to do this. He's a little bigger fish. They will thrash and bash you bad. Wasn't even in them, and that was barely in him. Now I'll belly you. And if you jump away, so be it. Look at that. Now we're getting there. Now that's a lot of fun on a jerkbait. A bait that's designed for small, or for bass, basically. But who says they're for bass? These fish are feeding on minnows. It looks like a minnow, and you see the results. And you know something about a jerkbait? Let me put them back. Something about a jerkbait too that you got to remember is this thing works on it works 90% on the pause, right? So you pull the bait, it pauses. You pull the bait, it pauses. They wait for that fish to stop, and then they pop it. And that's a key to why these jerkbaits work so well. I mean, they're smart. Fish are smart. They're predators, right? They wait for their opportunity. Bang! Oh God, he sliced me. I know I'm gonna bleed on that one, but that's okay. That fish was worth it. That's not a bad walleye. That's not bad, that guy. I'm liking him. Oh yeah. Oh. Whoa, walleye that jumped. Unfortunately, that hook slapped back at him. Nice. He's been very cooperative, that fish. I'll hold him kind of cross-handed here. Nice walleye. Whoa. Oh, God, he sliced me. I know I'm gonna bleed on that one, but that's okay. That fish was worth it. Whew. Ow. There it goes. See, that's the gill raker right there. That's not the gill, the edge of the gill. There's that little plate that covers it. And that doesn't look like much. That'll sting for about 4 days now. Kind of got me in the thumb too, but it just slices like a razor blade. Ouch. Well worth it for that fish. As I work this channel, I have to think, Ans must have had a complete blast here. Even though I'm working walleye, I can't help but get distracted by the voracious thrashing that the pike are doing up in the shallows. He, being a topwater freak, must have been in his glory. Oh. Look at the scar on this guy. Actually, it's a nice pike. Big old pike come out into the channel, and you're gonna get them. But if you're gonna get pike, hopefully they're gonna be this size or bigger. Look at that, that's nicely hooked. There he goes, here he goes. Oh, that was it? That's it, that was it. Look at the chompers on him. Okay. That could be trouble there. Nice pike. Thick pike, solid fish. Okay, go on with you. They tire you out, those guys. You don't like seeing them in your walleye spot, but you know they're in there. I mean, obviously, when Ans found this spot, he found it on pike. So, hundreds of pike in here. And probably, half that amount of walleye maybe. Or maybe more, I don't know. So it's inevitable you're gonna catch them. So it's nice to get decent sized ones anyways. When I first moved into this channel, the walleye seemed pretty jacked up, aggressively hitting my jerkbait. As time went on, however, things started to slow down. This area is very small, and the fish will eventually know something's wrong. It was time for a bait change, something that I could effectively work the bottom with. Oh, he tapped. I threw a great big chunk out there. I hope that's a walleye because it was a big chunk of meat. Wait till you see what I threw at him. He's not bad. Not a massive bait, but look how far down that is. It was just the first solid tap I've had here. That classic jig bite, that tap. Oh, you're gonna hurt my fingers, aren't you? Come on. Look at the size of that thing. He ate that as soon as it hit about one pop, one jig. This place is stacked. Day is getting really warm here. Oh, look at underneath this fish's jaw. I gotta show you something. Look at that. What happened there?
Hiya folks, midsummer walleyes, they drive most anglers crazy, and yet here's the irony. Middle of summer is the easiest time to locate and catch walleyes. They're eating over 3% of their body weight every day. The key is finding 64 to 67 degree water temperature. You're going to find every walleye in the lake. That's their comfort zone. Now here's the problem for most anglers. Walleyes, once they find that zone, they will spread out and they love to suspend, even out over open water. And most anglers have difficulty catching suspended walleyes. That shouldn't be the case if you pick a minnow bait or a crankbait that dives down to the depth the fish are using. If they're a little deeper than that and you can't find a bait that naturally goes to that zone, take a lead core outfit or a dipsy diver or a jet diver and just dial it in, and trust me, in the summertime it is lights out for walleyes.
Tap. And walleye. No, another typical. Not bad at all. Ooh, he just sprayed me. That's nice. The day is getting really warm here. Oh, look at underneath this fish's jaw. I gotta show you something. What happened there now? Living amongst all these pike, could that have... I don't know. Look at the size of that thing. A lot of times walleye get these growths on them. I don't get it. I don't. There's a lot of skin diseases. I don't know what they are, but that... By that one bleeding, I don't know if that's an actual disease or just something happened to him and got nailed by a pike or something, but that is wild, eh? Look at that. Look at how yellow their bellies are here in the north. Look at that beautiful golden hue to them. Let him go. You can watch my weed bed here. Well, they're in here good. They're hitting big jigs now without any meat or anything on them, which I really like. Now I was throwing hard jerk baits earlier. This is a soft jerk bait. This is a Yamamoto D-shad. Again, normally associated with putting a hook through it with no weight and jerking it along and have a real slow drop to it. But who says you can't make a jig out of that either, right? So, because it's nice and big and bulky, so I thought, you know what? If we're looking for a big walleye, big fish, that might work. This wind is swirling every direction today. It's unbelievable.
Here's an interesting observation. The bulk of the biting walleye were at either end of this channel. I tried numerous times to work the center area, which still had lots of bait in it, but it was pretty much fruitless. The only thing I can think of is easy access to the larger sections of the lake. Today's hotspot is a small channel separating two bays on Kaby Lake. The waypoint on your screen will get you there. If you saw Angelo's past show on Kaby, you would have noticed quite a similarity in his pike hotspot to mine. The truth is, since the bait population was so ridiculously high at this time, the walleye were hanging here just like the northerns. My hotspot is literally a cast away from Ange's. The difference is, however, all the walleye were set up in the deepest part of the channel. By popping a jerkbait or hopping a jig right in the channel gut, I caught fish all day long. With so many walleye available, you would think it'd be like catching fish in a barrel, but by having to compete with this massive group of bait fish, it did take some work. This area typically dries up in the summer, so get here early. For more waypoints like this one, check out fishingcanada.com.
Yeah, I hooked him. Another little walleye. What'd you figure? Go figure. It's so nice that the pike aren't here, though. They're gonna get a big one. I can feel it. I know there's one in here. I'm gonna get a giant. Ugly. If you're up in Northern Ontario jigging for walleye, try using bigger than usual plastics. Oftentimes, a big 5-inch body like the Yamamoto D-Shad I'm trying today will work wonders over a small 3-inch finesse bait. What have we got? What have we got? Oh boy. Pulling good. That's not a bad walleye. Not bad. The neat part about this spot is it's 6 feet of water too. Like it's so shallow. It's the deepest water in this little area, immediate area, but still, we catching walleye in 6 feet or less. And to know that the walleye, it's kind of neat that we figured out the walleye are in the trench, right in the middle, and the pike are all up in the edges, on the weed line and on the edges. So that's neat, because now you can drag baits like this in the perfect zone, or you can run the jerk bait. But, you know, I always try and cast either straight down or straight up while they're jumping all around the boat. Still that frenzy going on. This trip to Kaby Lake certainly was unique and a first for the Fishing Canada crew. With Ange finding that crazy phenomenon of pike wallowing among thousands of minnows, and then I move not more than 20 feet from his mayhem and find a ton of walleye stacked like $20 bills at a casino. This, my friends, is what every angler dreams of. To get to today's fantastic fishing location, I headed north on Highway 400 to Highway 69. At Sudbury, I headed west on Highway 17 to the town of White River. I then boarded a float plane at White River Air, which took me to Agich's Kaby Cabins on Kaby Lake. Now in today's KLP, you'd think location would be the key for me. And yeah, this place is loaded with fish, pike, walleye, bait fish galore. But I'm taking it a step beyond. I have the presentation, the P. What I want to do is I want to avoid pike as much as I can and try and catch walleyes. And the one thing I'm doing is I'm standing dead center of this channel. The deepest water in this little area is only about 5 or 6 feet deep. But the walleye seem to be laying on the bottom in the channel. The pike are either in the weeds like here, beating up the bait, or they're sort of suspended running along the weeds and they're sitting up high. So I use a suspending jerk bait with fluorocarbon line. It gets it down below the pike and hopefully just above the walleye. Jerk the bait, catch the fish.
The Fishin' Canada Show, brought to you in part by Sail, the Outdoors Superstore, Coleman, the Outdoor Company, Muskol, proudly Canadian since 1951, Cooper Tires, life's a road trip, come on, let's go, and Princecraft Boats, dominate the waters.